Well, we did it. We're into the double digits. It's week 11, and week 10 is in the books, Travis. This is a precarious time. Let me just start off with that, okay? For all those listening, if this is your first time listening, this is Losing Sucks. I'm Dustin Blanton. That's Travis Masterson. And we're getting closer and closer to the fantasy playoffs. Okay, I want that to be kind of an overall theme for the show, because that's ultimately, look, at this point, you have a pretty good idea if you're going to make the playoffs or your season's lost, right? We've talked, at this point, we've had 10 weeks. You're either 3-7, 4-6, whatever. You can look at your league and look, do I need to make moves or do I need to just move on? Fantasy basketball is a thing. Go try that. Go have some fun.
Don't try that. It's horrific.
It's awful.
It's horrific.
We tried it once. We all experiment in college. But Trev, there's some narratives that I want to talk about, as we're here past the midway point in the season, about guys that are important to me, guys I've stand for over the past couple of years, guys that are coming on that are going to be valuable for your fantasy team. And number one, being a quarterback, plays in the AFC. We'll name him here in a few minutes. That's
what we're going to start the show with.
I want to talk about it. I want to talk about it. Damn it. It's not going to be the first thing. I guess. But
this may be my least favorite start to a show in 112 or 113 episodes.
Sure.
To start with this name.
Then let's talk about something real quick that you do like talking about. Tell me, how are your fantasy teams doing? How are they doing? How is the season treating you? Because that's why, I don't know about our listeners and our fans, but that's why I'm here. I'm only here because I care about Travis's fantasy teams as a willing participant in their success.
Cut to shit, Dustin. I'm 190-90 on the season, 68%, looking like a lot of playoffs. That's expected when you're in 18, 19 dynasty leagues and you mortgage the future all the time.
Gracious.
It is pedal to the metal. Sean McVay style.
Love that.
You have to be in the playoff race immediately in the first 2 years, or you're in for a really long career.
Yeah. For sure.
I'll say this. I've been pretty lucky when it comes to close games. Sometimes you can go on a rough stretch for a few weeks. You've had a rough stretch of luck. I'm hoping mine doesn't come, but it usually is a pendulum that is coming back and forth. It stayed pretty lucky, so... Look, we put in hours and hours and hours of research and conversations and decision-making into this game because it's fun, not because it's required, not because we get paid to do it.
That's right.
But when you do that and it doesn't go well, it can really affect your mood. And I've been lucky. I've been on a high all season, and I'm just hoping that continues for everybody's sake because losing really sucks.
Losing does sucks, okay? And... just as a general reminder, don't do that. Losing sucks. Check at the top right corner of your screen. Don't do it. Okay?
You know who does a lot of losing in fantasy football is Trevor Lawrence. How about we just jump right in, rip the Band-Aid off, talk about your boy.
We're going to jump right into it. We're going to jump right into the rundown.
We're going to dive in to the rundown. I'll be exhausted because it's like a triathlon.
Trevor Lawrence, how could you? Okay, first of all, I'm not going to sit here. I'm not angry at him. I'm just
How could
disappointed.
you what? How could you what?
Look, he faced I just said look like 3 times, and I apologize. But what I don't apologize for is someone having a hard time facing the San Francisco 49ers off of a bye after a newly acquired Chase Young is on the field. I don't blame him for not
Chase
being
Young is the reason why Trevor Lawrence disappointed.
No, look, that team was not prepared for the onslaught that a rested defensive line was going to have. In this game, I don't blame Trevor Lawrence. But
why not?
Because we're not, well, are we talking about one game? Or are we talking, if you watch the game, that defense was able to push back that offensive line the entire game.
How many teams are in the NFL?
There are at least 32.
32 teams. Do you know what rank he had this week as a quarterback in fantasy football?
Come on.
31.
Yeah, he had a bad week.
So bringing this back to our previous conversation about Trevor Lawrence, and I'm going to lay into you tonight about Trevor Lawrence because you fucking deserve it.
Okay.
You have led people to believe, especially right before this season, that Trevor Lawrence and Justin Herbert are the same caliber fantasy player. And they are light years apart.
Okay.
He is not in the top 10 conversation.
I think he's in the top 10.
When you say I think, do you mean because of numbers, of what he's done, or because of the eye test, or because of what he did in college, or his hair? Like, what is it?
He is a top 10 quarterback right now.
In what?
The NFL. He is a top 10
But we're talking
quarterback.
fantasy football. Where is he for you? The facts say he's QB 18 on the season.
For sure.
With 4 weeks to go, he has zero chance of finishing inside the top 12.
I agree. I don't think he's finishing inside the top 12.
Why not?
Well, all right. So 4 weeks in the fantasy before the playoffs. I mean, he's got a bunch of weeks left.
Sorry, I phrased that wrong. Not why is he not going to climb from 18 to 12 in the last 4 weeks, but why in 2023 is he not a QB1, a top 12 guy? What happened?
I mean, I think he's playing too careful, to be honest with you. I think he's playing too careful. If we brought this up in our group chat and we were talking about it, and it really, the last couple of days I've really been looking into it and went back and watched some of his games, and looked at some of his numbers, and yeah, he's playing too careful. If you look at Trevor Lawrence and what he does well, he takes care of the ball. You know, he doesn't take as many risks as he probably should at the right times. You know, I want to look at some of his numbers right now because, you know, his interceptions, you know, not bad. Not bad.
So the more success they have as a team, the worse he is as a fantasy football quarterback. I'm not saying that's wrong. I'm trying to get to the bottom of it because they're 7-2 going into this past weekend.
Right. I mean, that's what I'm saying.
He's doing what they want him to do.
He's managing the game. He's managing the game, and honestly, that's not good for people's expectations of him. Look, I can't defend him as like. I think he is pure talent wise. I feel like he's up there with anyone. He doesn't play like he's that guy, though. Like, you see it in flashes. We've seen it in stretches where, you know, he's, especially last year, we had the big run and everybody was super confident in him heading into this year. And I believe Jacksonville made it, second round of the playoffs last year. And so it's the postseason when you watch him and, you know, he made those comeback wins and he looks really good. It's for him, it's that he's not, like you said, this is a fantasy game. We don't care if he's a top 10 NFL quarterback. What is he doing for our fantasy teams? Truth of the matter is...
So would you trade him?
Depends on the offer.
In Dynasty, would you trade him for Brock Purdy?
No, I still wouldn't do that.
So 8 weeks later...
Yeah.
He hasn't budged from QB 18. He is still at 18 where he was 8 weeks ago.
Yeah,
Why not?
Where's the upside there? You know, I mean, Brock
Where's
Purdy,
the upside for Trevor Lawrence?
Look, I mean, where his fantasy finishes? I mean, let's pull up where
he's been a top 10 quarterback this season in 2 of 9 games.
Didn't he finish his quarterback 8 last year though? He finished his quarterback 8.
He did.
So he was a top 10 fantasy option last year.
That's the same
And-
as so was Brock Purdy.
Sure, but that's the
And
that's
Brock
what I'm
Purdy is
saying.
again this year.
Sure, but my question, my point for Trevor Lawrence before we make this entire show about Trevor Lawrence,
We can
is-
wrap it up in 2 minutes. I just want to see what kind
Sure.
of piece would you need with Purdy to give up T-Law?
I need another starter just because. Look, we saw Brock Purdy really struggle when his left tackle went out and when Deebo Samuel went out. He really struggled. So I'm not gonna. And great point, Boyd, and I'm gonna kind of show that in the chat or on the screen, is that Trevor Lawrence has some things that Brock Purdy doesn't have. Trevor Lawrence does run the football. Trevor Lawrence adds that aspect to the game. Now, granted, I think a problem as fantasy gamers we have is that we take such a small, narrow view of what a player should be, and we want to extrapolate that. So we see that he's had a down season. He's quarterback 18. We had all these high expectations. He should constantly be in the top 10. And now we're thinking he'll never be that player again, which I feel is a perfect opportunity
I don't
to
think
buy
he's
low.
a bad player. I think he's a great player.
Yeah.
But I don't think that in fantasy football, the ceiling is near the other guys that he's drafted around.
And see, I just disagree. I think Trevor Lawrence is he's not falling into the paradigm that we want him to. He's not falling into this mold that of what we expect these top tier quarterbacks to do, is that they should never have seasons like this. They should never, he got more weapons this year and his running back's doing well and he's not having to throw the ball all over the field all the time. And maybe that's the problem, is that he's got such a reliable running game. And that's kind of a silly argument, but
That's
I think-
reaching for things to
it
defend
is.
somebody.
It is.
Who,
I
from
think
a fantasy perspective, is
Sure.
not getting it done.
when it comes down to it, Trevor Lawrence is not a top tier fantasy option consistently.
I
That
thought he
is
was
the-
going to run more than he has.
Well, I mean, he's on track to run for over 300 yards again. So that's
That's
about
not
what we expect.
That's not a big time runner though. Like, he has wheels.
Well, sure. Yeah. And
I thought
like I said,
500-600 was in the
like I
in
said,
the realm.
what my personal opinion before we move on is that he went into the end of last season putting them behind early because of turnovers, and I think he comes into this season overcorrecting, taking too much credence in taking care of the ball, not wanting to turn it over, so that way he's playing scared.
If
that's
somebody
my
offered you
2 cents.
Dak and Jahan Dotson
Yeah, I
in
would take that.
Dynasty,
I would
you
take
would take Dak's side.
I would take it.
Brock and Jahan Dotson.
No, I can't. I don't.
So we're
believe-
just not going to give Brock Purdy his flowers. We've decided we're just not going to do that.
here's from a football perspective, there's nothing holding San Francisco to Brock Purdy at all. If they don't make it, they don't have a quarterback that they have to pay next year. If there's a better option that has staying power,
They don't have money. And he doesn't
Sure.
cost money. So why not keep a guy who's like 20-1 or 20-4? Like, he's one of the best quarterbacks winning percentage wise. This is the
What if
same
we
shit we had
learn-
with Jimmy G.
What have we learned from the Jets? What have we learned from the Rams? What have we learned from the Packers? Is that money in the salary cap does not exist when you want.
Okay, that's true. That's true.
If Kirk Cousins comes back and says, "Yeah, I'm healthy and I want to play in San Francisco," guess what? He's playing in San Francisco and Purdy's gone.
All right. Well, I stand by my tweet. You haven't swayed me. Brock
Okay.
Purdy over Trevor
That's fine.
Lawrence in every format. I
I
would not
disagree.
draft Brock Purdy over Trevor Lawrence in Dynasty because the community in fantasy football, especially in Dynasty, is still way in on Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah, so
I
why
will
would
just take Brock Purdy
Sure.
6 rounds, 7, 8 rounds later,
I don't think that
or
late,
or
but
take Trevor Lawrence and then trade him for DK Metcalf and Brock Purdy.
sure. Try
Those deals are that's to me that's how you win. Like if
if
Trevor Lawrence's name is going to return a top 10 quarterback, top 12 quarterback, and a top 20 receiver, you have to take. You said you would take Dak and Jahan Dotson.
Sure. I would take.
You
Dak
wouldn't
over
take
Purdy.
DK and Purdy.
I don't think I would do that. I don't think.
Oh my gosh. Okay. So
Let's
you're just
move
not a
on.
Brock guy. You're not a Brock guy. That's what it is.
Let's move on. Let's talk about Derrick Henry.
Yeah.
We're heading into the fantasy playoffs, and he's got a favorable schedule. And that's about what you can say. We just saw, granted, he just faced Tampa Bay. Great run defense. Can't deny it.
Yeah.
What we saw, though, was that Will Levis couldn't take advantage of a Swiss cheese Tampa Bay passing defense, which made it real hard for Derrick Henry to get anywhere or anything going. My question to you, Travis, is this an offense that you're comfortable taking advantage of with Derrick Henry heading down the stretch, or are you looking to trade him even off a down week because the trading deadline for a lot of weeks is coming up this week?
I still want him. I'm willing to buy. I think there's a dip in value that you can buy.
Sure.
I think Tennessee realized or is realizing that it still needs to go through Derrick Henry. Will Levis had a good game. He's not CJ Stroud. It still needs to be an ease this guy into the league type thing on the back of 18 touches to Derrick Henry. Tampa Bay has been one of the top run-Ds in the league for a long time, and they were in the backfield immediately. I watched quite a bit of that game because of the DeAndre Hopkins shares I had.
Sure.
And they never had a chance. It was like as soon as he snapped it, they were back there.
Yeah.
And it became a passing situation out of the backfield, which is going to be Tajay Spears.
Right.
I still think, like you're saying, given an easy schedule, if they're anywhere in the game or have a lead, it's just going to be pound Derrick Henry. I'm still buying. I'm not selling for any kind of discount.
Okay. That's fair. They've got the fourth easiest strength of schedule, and they get Jacksonville, Carolina, and Indy in the next 3 games. Fantasy playoffs, they get Houston twice and Seattle. So
you won't be able to buy him in 2 weeks.
Well, no. I think the trade deadline will be gone. I personally, I would take this as a buy low opportunity.
Yeah.
And go see if you can get him. Another couple guys. Speaking of offenses that you kind of have questions about, Justin Fields and Justin Jefferson could be
2
coming back
guys on
this
your
week.
home league squad. Can they help you win out?
That's the question, because with Justin Jefferson, I mean, granted, ours is a keeper league, so moving him's kind of a question mark.
Can't do it.
You can't do it. I toyed around with trading him for guys like CeeDee Lamb and Cooper Kupp and all this other thing. I'm like, no, I gotta hold JJ because you just don't get talent like that. But Justin Jefferson coming back, Justin Fields coming back this week. Do you want? All right, so Fields comes back. He's immediately in the starting conversation. Okay.
Nope.
Really?
I'm not doing it yet.
Okay.
I want to
All
see
right.
one. I want to see one game, and the reason why is because most of the Justin Fields owners have Josh Dobbs, Brock Purdy. They have options.
Sure.
I want to see one. I'm happy to roll Dobbs out there another week. See what Justin Fields is doing with his month off.
Yeah.
Let him get the grease
start
back and see,
Sure.
what does the hand actually look like? Is he as confident? Like, there's just no
Justin
reason
Fields
to go in.
or Russell Wilson? Russell Wilson
Probably-
gets Minnesota.
Probably Fields.
Fields gets Detroit. At Detroit.
Yeah, I'm going to go Fields there. I think that Detroit gets up early and it's going to be
Right.
catch up all day. So
Yeah.
if Fields
Okay,
is 100%, I'll go Fields over Russell Wilson.
Sure. Fields or, well, Goff. I mean, that same game.
Goff.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. Kind of.
I don't
makes
trust
you,
Russ.
Not so much.
I mean, he was 1 inch away from a 15-point night last night.
Yeah. Yeah.
1 inch.
I mean, sometimes look.
and Buffalo gave him the ball 17 fucking times.
Yeah,
And he still barely got 20 points.
that defense played well.
They started half their drives inside the opponent's 50.
Yeah. It.
I don't know.
mean-
I mean, he got one little dink to Javonte Williams
Sure.
and the 7-yard prayer to Cortland Sutton. I'm not there with Russ right now.
Sure. All right, so you brought up an interesting guy, and I'm kind of curious. You mentioned Dak earlier, and this is an interesting question for me: Dak or Josh Dobbs, rest of season?
Dak.
Okay.
He is unbelievable right now.
Yeah, he's got easily the best schedule for quarterbacks.
There's just
the
I
rest of
don't
the
give a
season.
damn what his schedule is. They're too hot. CeeDee Lamb's the
Yeah.
best player in the NFL right now.
You
Who's
think
better?
Oh man. Yeah, I mean he's damn good.
He's the
He's damn
best
good.
player in fantasy, and he's the best player in the NFL right now over the last month.
I don't know. I think AJ Brown's debatable. AJ Brown's debatable.
Welcome to the shelf, CeeDee Lamb. He's
Yeah.
going to go right here and probably Adrian Peterson's spot. CeeDee Lamb,
Oh,
welcome to
wow.
the shelf.
AD's leaving. All right.
He is my favorite player. We've got him up here.
You gotta
Move
have
the
him on
camera
shelf.
up. We got a little CeeDee Lamb up here.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I like it.
Living
I
in
like
Dallas, little homer pick, but I do think
Oh.
right now he's the best player in the league.
Yeah, I
We've been on
mean,
him for years.
for sure. It's. I mean, there
Not
are
in on him
guys-
like, oh, he's good. In on him like he's
Yeah.
a top 3 to 4 guy. Period.
I think. I mean, Tyreek and AJ Brown have made huge cases for them this year. I can't.
They have.
It's hard. CD's. I can't easily differentiate CD from them. Even we're completely ignoring Keenan Allen in between them. So I mean, that's fine.
Keenan Allen's great. Keenan
yeah.
Allen looks like a ticking time bomb.
Yeah, for sure.
It makes me nervous.
Have you seen that knot on his shoulder from that AC sprain?
No.
Oof. Oh my god.
Just his little jog after every tackle, I'm like, come on,
Yeah.
man.
Oh yeah.
I wish they would just, like, once you hit 25 points, take
Yeah.
it easy. You
I
gave us
think
all you
he's-
need to give us.
He's like 32, 33 going on like 50, and it's rough.
He's incredible. though.
All right, so Justin Fields, you're waiting on him, huh?
One more week.
One more week. Okay.
If you
One
have a
more
good
day.
option. Russell Wilson. Who are some other guys in that tier that you
Sure, Geno Smith?
probably Justin Fields. Geno's been terrible this year. He had one good week.
Yeah, it's not been pretty. I mean, goodness, Matt Stafford against Seattle.
Fields.
Okay.
I would go Fields over Kyler Murray
Sure.
and Trevor Lawrence, Russell Wilson, Jordan Love, Geno Smith, Watson,
Arizona has
Stafford,
Houston
all those
this
guys.
week. That's gonna be a big quarterback matchup with Stroud and Murray playing.
Yeah,
think,
Kyler will be fine.
I think Stroud goes pretty big. Tampa Bay gets. I was gonna say Purdy or Fields, but I think Purdy's gonna have a really nice game this week.
It's too
against
safe right now.
Tampa. Yeah, I would go Purdy over most right now. Let's talk some trade or some trap guys, because these are guys who little bit of rocky situation, not so much because of them, but because of other players emerging on their team. First off, I want to talk about Gus Edwards and Keaton Mitchell. My goodness, Keaton Mitchell is lightning in a bottle. And look, I'm not one for news blurbs, but the biggest one this week is Keaton Mitchell is going to see more work in this Baltimore offense because he just took 3 touches for like 138 yards.
He's
and
taking
that's
that over.
Yeah, that is going to be his backfield by the end of the year. And Gus Edwards, great goal line guy, perfect. Justice Hill, who?
Sell the bus.
Yeah, you got to sell the bus.
Dustin, he hasn't gone over 65 yards
Yeah,
in 8.
it's
He hasn't gone over 65 in 9 of 10. He's done it one time. That is unbelievably touchdown dependent. He has had 5 games of 0 catches and 3 games of 1 catch.
Here's what you should do. You should take Gus
He's
Edwards, take another piece.
RB13.
Take another piece and sell him for Brian Robinson. That's what you do. If you like Gus
Or
Edwards,
Tony Pollard.
I would not trade him.
You
for Tony
prefer
Pollard.
Gus Edwards to Tony Pollard.
Mostly just because I have eyes and I've been able to watch
Oh
them
my goodness.
Mostly
Let me
just
say,
because
let me read you a stat. Don't know if you
Okay.
heard the first time.
Okay.
He's had over 65 yards one time
Yeah.
this season,
Yeah.
and he's RB13.
Yes.
Why are we banking on touchdowns?
It's mostly just because Brian Robinson is the running back 4 on the season. That's mainly why. In standard scoring, where is he? Oh, look, there.
No, I'm not saying don't move him for B-Rob. I'm talking about Pollard. Pollard with a cake schedule coming up. He's a much better player, and he's not touchdown dependent like Gus is. He's been actually incredibly touchdown unlucky. That pendulum's coming back. If you can move Gus for Tony Pollard, I would do it.
Sure.
Sleeper's
I mean,
projection
honestly,
for Gus Edwards, 48 total yards.
I don't disagree. I'm looking at their schedule for Dallas. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty good. But then honestly, the fantasy playoffs, once you get to week 14, it's rough, man.
Gus still has his bye. He's got Rams, Jacksonville. Those are good.
Yep.
Then week 16 and 17, you're toast. San Francisco and Miami. Gus is nothing.
Sure. But Dallas, I mean, you're talking weeks you need him. He's got Philly coming up week 14. And then 15, Buffalo, Miami, and then Detroit in the championship.
That's not easy either.
I don't love it.
Okay, all right. Brian Robinson it is. I doubt you can get him for Gus Edwards, but maybe Gus and one. Gus and Brandon Cooks.
Hell yeah, easily.
Somebody that. Noah Brown, Tyler Boyd,
Honestly,
somebody who just went off.
If I could take this guy and the next guy I'll bring up and skip the next guy, switch places. If I could take Gus Edwards and James Cook and trade them for Brian Robinson right now, I would consider it.
Okay.
I'm
not
scared
fully
for
in
James
on
Cook.
James Cook, but I'm not fully out. I don't know what
scared.
to do.
I'm scared for him. James Cook, I mean, not just the fumble issues. Sure, I think
That has to be all it is, though.
I feel like that's a one-game doghouse situation. But Buffalo
He came back
and
and ran his butt off.
Buffalo has, without a doubt, the hardest running back schedule.
Yeah.
Listen, he's got the Jets. He's got Philly next week. He's got a bye. He's got Kansas City. He's got Dallas. He's got the Chargers. He's got New England. All of those.
Selling James Cook.
All of those.
Okay, I got some work to do tonight.
Get James Cook off your roster if you're
Just redraft?
Redraft, yeah. I think James Cook will have a role in Dynasty.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I think we've seen his ceiling. I do. But if you have James Cook on a redraft and you're going for a championship, I think you need to get out.
All right.
Because it's going to be
That would be me.
Yep. That's this guy. This guy.
All right. What about DJ Moore?
DJ Moore. DJ Moore is someone I'm really into because when he plays with Justin Fields, it looks good. He is targeted. That offense was starting to click, and then Justin Fields got injured. For wide receiver, it's not such a happy schedule for the Bears. Detroit, then Minnesota, then a bye. Detroit, Cleveland, Arizona. But we've seen games against Detroit, where wide receivers have success. So I'm not so worried about it. Minnesota, same thing. Especially he's the number one option on this team, and I feel like that offense was really starting to move the ball. Even with Bajent playing, they were finding ways to move the ball. Homer aside, I'll try and put it as far away as possible. But I think Fields comes back and DJ Moore is going to be a top 20 wide receiver the rest of the way.
I like it.
Yeah.
The targets are there. I mean, he's still around that wide receiver 20 as far as targets.
Sure.
it's just been like, I don't know if you watched it was like a 40-yard pass down the right sideline to DJ Moore, hit his hand.
Yeah.
Inches away.
Yeah.
I mean, you catch that with
Off
how
his tips,
volatile it is right now. If he hauls that in,
It's a game changer.
12-point play in PPR,
Sure.
that skyrockets you back into that top 15. It's one play.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree. I like DJ Moore though. Can we go back to we can talk about Raheem Mostert. We can talk about Raheem Mostert real quick
Selling.
because I'm also selling. Devon Achane coming back, and they already have a difficult schedule. I'm not in it, man. I mean, they're gonna have you're gonna have one more week. You're gonna have one more week of Raheem Mostert. I feel like
He's
Sell
not
him.
making it the rest of the way.
I
healthy.
am
He's
selling
not.
him though. I'm not even worried about the health. I'm worried about him facing in his next 4 out of 5 games. He's got Washington, the Jets twice, and Dallas. No, that's a hard pass. And then if you make it to the championship with Raheem Mostert, he's got Baltimore.
Yeah.
No. Something I want to talk about, what we're kind of talking about it right now, is look at the defenses in your league. See where your players are playing and which defenses are on the waiver wire and pick them up. Because, like, we've talked about James Cook. We've talked about Raheem Mostert now.
Yeah.
Get these guys off your roster. You can get better guys with better schedules. Find a lateral guy. It's not that hard. Brian Robinson for Raheem Mostert right now is doable. Like,
Is it?
I think so. Raheem Mostert has.
It's hard to buy B-Rob
40-point
off
games.
of that game, off of this past week.
Sure.
Um,
He had a big game.
I'm with you though. I would sell Raheem Mostert and one
Sure.
for Alvin Kamara, who's on bye. If you
Interesting. If you can
are-
take it.
if you're in the top 4 or 5 of your league and you're pretty confident in your chances to make the playoffs, go find Alvin Kamara and buy the shit out of him.
I don't mind.
Dustin,
that.
let me read you a stat.
Okay.
Alvin Kamara has 8 targets per game. He has finished
think-
outside of the top 20 running backs one time.
Yeah.
Second in targets per game is Eckler with like 5.6. It is a league of his own.
Yeah.
If you can buy Kamara and you're in a winning position, buy his bye week this week. It
sure.
may be worth a shot.
I'm
Gridiron
into
Greek. What up?
Yes.
Thanks for coming by the show. I actually
What's
think I
going
might be in a
on?
league with Gridiron Greek.
Well, send him a trade.
I'm
Send him
gonna
a
have to
trade.
I'm going to see if that league's still alive. I recognize the name. Thanks for coming by.
Appreciate you, man. Yeah. We got a couple other names to touch on. Be pretty quick. Jacoby Myers, the Raiders. I
Out.
don't know how.
Fuck the Raiders. They're toast.
I mean, yeah, Devontae Adams.
I'm
is
selling
struggling.
everybody but Jacobs.
Yeah, that's fair. You can probably get a decent amount with. Look, Devontae Adams had 13 targets. Go ahead and sell him on that. Like, hey,
Yeah.
he's getting volume. He'll get a touchdown. Go ahead and sell him. Jacoby
And he
Myers,
looked
yeah.
good. He looked good.
Dynasty, I'm holding both. But
Okay.
I mean,
Fair
Jacobs
enough.
and Myers.
See what happens at quarterback.
Yeah. Next guy I want to talk about though is Terry McLaurin. That offense, goodness gracious, it can
I'm
blow
still
up at
in.
times. But Terry
Still
McLaurin has
in.
not been the benefactor. I think we've seen this every year where there's a wide receiver on an offense that's doing well fantasy wise, except for the stud, and it happens to be Terry's year.
What do you do with him though? You're not getting anything back.
I'm selling him in redraft for whatever I can get.
For what though? What level?
That's a good question because I mean, looking at where he's at now,
Gabe Davis?
No, I can't do that.
That's the return you might get. Brandon Cooks.
Yeah. I mean, Christian Kirk. Do you think you can get Christian Kirk?
Hell no.
No. Yeah,
Christian Kirk
he's-
has been so consistent.
Yeah, I'm looking. Yeah, Jesus, yeah, his numbers are terrible. Yeah, I mean, you might be kind of up.
You may be able to
creek.
get like a T Higgins
Yeah,
who's
T.
still hurt.
Higgins. Yeah, I mean, goodness, yeah, you might be stuck. Honestly, you might
Terry
be
and
stuck
one
with
for
Terry.
T to the owner who needs somebody right now is a good look.
Yeah, maybe. I guess. I mean, So would you rather, honestly, Terry McLaurin or gulp Rashi Rice?
Terry McLaurin.
Terry McLaurin
Deontay
or...
Johnson?
I'd rather have Deontay, to be honest with you.
No.
Yeah.
Pittsburgh
Yeah.
blows dick. No way.
Uh,
Sam Howell's QB3.
Yeah, and where's Terry at?
It's
Where's
coming.
Terry?
It's just like Philly.
It's
like
coming.
people are.
We're
It's
10
good. They're
games
gonna
into
have
the
their
season.
weeks.
It's coming.
They're
They have
gonna
one of the hardest
rotate.
schedules for wide
Why is he
receiver.
QB3? How is he QB3?
That's a great question. He's probably
Is it
scored
Logan
more.
Thomas?
It's
Curtis
honestly.
Samuel?
Yeah,
De'Ami
him too.
Brown? Like it's
Yeah,
gonna
Jahan
happen.
Dotson. It's everybody except for Terry. It's everybody except for Terry.
He's on the field the whole fucking game. I still have faith. I'm not moving him for Rasheed Rice, who's 20 yards and a
Look,
chance at a
he's
score.
got the Giants. He's got the Cowboys. He's got Miami. He's got a bye. He's got the Rams. He's got the Jets. I don't want him. Take him off my roster. I don't want him.
No way. I'm not just gonna bail on him like that.
I am. I'm out. Out. Goodbye.
Drake London,
Yeah, I would take Drake London. I'll take
Tyler
Drake London
Boyd?
over Terry there. I guess I go Terry there. Yeah,
Why?
That's a sucky thing. Because I mean,
what
he
if you're
comes back
6-4 or 5-5 or 4-6?
I'm trying
Tyler
to-
Boyd, another week or two of really nice
Sure.
looks.
Yeah, I mean, I guess not Tyler Boyd though. I can't do it.
Brandon Cooks.
He's not. No, I wouldn't do that.
Okay,
either.
so you still have him inside the top 25 guys.
Top 25, 30. Like Waddle or Terry. You know, like
That you're talking about a top 15 type player. Those aren't in the
Jalen
same.
Waddle is the wide receiver 32. Like,
Do you think he finishes outside the top 24?
I don't think it's a lock that he finishes inside the top 24.
I would bet that he, from this point forward, is he a top 20 guy in your ranks?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
He
Okay.
is.
Jalen Waddle's still one of those dudes.
All right. So we already talked about matchups. We already talked about defenses.
I have one more buy, and this
Okay.
is
Yeah. Hit me with him.
This is actually probably harder in redraft, but I think it's doable in Dynasty.
Okay.
Somebody that I have little to zero shares of, Michael Pittman. He is not looked at or respected like the T. Higgins group.
It's because of who's throwing him the ball.
I don't
honest with
care.
He's on a buy,
When
so you can buy him.
He's been wide receiver 24 or better
Yeah.
70% of the time. He's
That's
number
nice.
he's number 10 in the league in targets.
Yeah.
Why does he not get the return that Olave or T. Higgins gets? You can get Michael Pittman and a second for T. Higgins.
Yeah, you can. And that's a great point, honestly. That's a really
Like
honestly,
we're obsessed with the names that we fucking
Well, sure.
slobber over all off season. Michael Pittman comes in and is bawling his dick off, and we won't buy him.
he's balling his dick off.
He is so consistent. Why aren't we
Yeah.
treating him like Chris Olave, who has been
look-
horrific?
No, I feel like he hasn't been bad. I feel like his quarterback play has been terrible.
And okay, are you telling me that the Colts quarterback play hasn't been?
I feel like it's been better than Derek Carr. I feel like it's been better. If you watch the games,
Rookie
Minshew ain't-
A-Rich and Minshew, that's at
Okay,
least
first
in the
off-
same group of as Carr.
You watch the games. Derek Carr has been straight up ass. Like
Michael
working
Pittman
out-
doesn't have Taysom Hill eating into everything they do.
We're gonna blame it on Taysom Hill. That's
Has
why
he
Derek
not
Carr's
killed their
bad?
weapons?
Oh,
He's
well,
killed them. Michael
he
Thomas,
is a weapon.
Chris Olave, Shaheed's
Sure.
been inconsistent. Why? Because Taysom Hill gets fucking
Sure.
10 touches and a touchdown every week.
No, it's because Derek Carr is a check down artist, and like.
Okay,
oh,
so now
his
that
first
Jameis
three-
is in,
yeah,
maybe
yeah.
Chris Olave starts to come back to life. We
100%.
did see that this past week.
100%. Jameis
Michael
Winston
Pittman is still a buy.
Derek Carr is here as a fantasy quarterback. Jameis Winston is here. It's
I
on
agree.
its way up. It's intercepted, but it's on the way up.
He is a
Like-
great fantasy quarterback. Michael Pittman is a buy. Put a feeler out there. I'm not saying
I
you
agree.
have to move your T. Higgins, but I'm saying he's not priced like T. Higgins.
No,
He's
there's
just
a
not.
lot of guys I would move for Michael Pittman for sure.
Chris Godwin and DeAndre Hopkins for Michael Pittman.
Ooh, God, that is a really good one. If I needed wide receiver, if I had
That's how you buy.
that's really good. Honestly, you're upgrading the position. Yeah, I would
He's
do that.
24,
I would do that.
25.
I would do that in a dynasty. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah. We need, you and I, and all 4 of you listening, need to go put feelers out for Michael Pittman now.
Damn. All right. Yeah, I might have to go ask around.
He's
because
viable.
That's not bad. That's
He's
not,
viable.
that's not
With
bad.
the weeks
That's
with
not
the
bad.
weeks that other guys have had, he's viable.
All right.
I don't know that I'd give up like a Jordan Addison, but I would think about it.
Whew, that's really good. That's really good. We've talked about some matchups already. Talked about the defenses. Which defenses should you be targeting? With a month to go, Cleveland has Chicago week 15 and the Jets week 17. Interesting because Aaron Rodgers might be back by then. Interesting note there.
I don't think he will be.
You don't think so? He said
not buying it.
Thanksgiving. He'll be.
I
around
know,
the
I'm
team
not buying it.
full time.
It's
Full
optimistic at best.
And then New Orleans has the Giants. Yeah, if you look, anyone faces the Giants, you go get them.
The Saints are a defense that is really available,
Yeah.
very available, because
God, that's really good.
they haven't done shit. But week 15,
Them,
like
the
you
Raiders.
you get 15 or 20 out of New Orleans at home versus the Giants. You're
Yeah.
drastically increasing your chances at going to the Final Four.
Yeah, I agree.
Check for New Orleans.
Let's switch to another gear. Because we talked about tough matchups. We've talked about some trade targets already, Trav. Do you want to switch it up to move some dynasty talk?
Yes, but I just have 3 things redraft before we switch.
Okay.
Point number 1, Cardinals' weapons in the playoffs get
Yes.
San Francisco and Philadelphia. I would be looking to move the James Conner shares
Yes.
and maybe the Hollywood Brown shares. I still keep McBride. I think he's matchup proof.
I would hold on to Marquise Hollywood.
San
Brown.
Francisco and Philadelphia in 2 of your 3 playoff matchups. Hollywood let's say Hollywood catches that touchdown this past week.
Sure.
You're getting a Michael Pittman for him. For Hollywood and Gus Edwards.
Sure. Yeah, I would do that.
Find somebody to attach to Hollywood after one good game. He's going to be okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you can go get a Devontae Smith or a Waddle for Hollywood and some Hollywood and Gus, Hollywood and Singletary. Like, sell these huge games from average guys.
Yeah.
Number 2, Texans running backs. Just mentioned Singletary. Are you selling high right now? Or are you waiting and using him? Because when it gets to the playoffs, he's got Tennessee, who's very stout. I always say that word when I talk about Tennessee. I don't know why.
Yep.
What's the guy's name? Simmons on their
Who?
D-line?
Oh, Jonathan Simmons. Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay, so
Monster.
something about him makes me say the word stout. He's got Tennessee,
He's a
Cleveland,
sturdy boy.
Tennessee again in
That's bad.
15, 16, 17. No, thank you. No, thank you.
Yeah.
I'm not running against those 3 matchups.
No.
Finally, James Cook, we talked about earlier. He's got Dallas, LA Chargers, and New England in the playoffs.
Yeah.
And before that, you've already said it's going to get bad. I'm looking to move Cook and Singletary and James Conner.
Yeah.
Go get the Brian Robinsons. Pair 2 of them if you
Yes.
have to. You don't need
Sure.
these guys that are like, oh, well, I might need them. No, it's time.
Yeah.
You need
Singletary-
stars.
Yes. Yes. Singletary and someone else for a guy that's getting, 15, 20 touches. You do that.
Yep.
Personally, I'm trying to trade Jonathan Taylor plus for Travis Etienne right now. I mean, that's what I'm doing.
Wow.
That's what I'm
It's a big name to move this late, right before the playoffs, but you could get a massive return.
Yeah, I mean,
If you're starting the Michael Wilson, the Christian Watson level guys, and you have Jonathan Taylor, go get Brian Robinson and
Yeah.
a receiver that you know you can start every week.
Would you trade Brian Robinson and Michael Pittman for Jonathan Taylor?
Oh, I would take the 2 for JT.
Sure. Yeah. You might
Those
be
are
able to
guys
do
you're
that.
not taking out.
Yeah.
I know JT you're not taking out, but still,
hell no.
2 guys you're not taking out is incredibly valuable.
Sure.
You don't want to be making these decisions in the playoffs. Like
No.
when you look at your team and you're thinking,
No.
oh, do I start Gus Edwards or do I start Devin Singletary? Like those aren't names that you want to be deciding between. When
No.
you get to the playoffs,
No.
you know who your crew is.
For sure. Yeah. It can be rough. Especially if you don't have guys that you're sure can start.
All right, what's our finish?
All right, we're going to talk some Dynasty, okay? We're going to talk some Dynasty because we're getting to that point where Dynasty playoffs are coming up, and it's a little bit of a different task making trades. Sometimes you have a trade deadline. Sometimes it doesn't exist. Sometimes you have to be prepared for one of your competitors to unload his entire draft capital cabinet and upgrade his entire back half of his team. So a discussion I want to have with you, Travis, is are buy lows the same in redraft and dynasty?
At this point in the year?
Yeah, at this point of the year.
Pretty similar.
Very similar.
Those
because
second, third round picks in future rookie drafts
Yeah.
right now are your best asset.
They're upgrade tokens. That's how I look at them. If you have a running back, and like we've talked about lateral moves, well, you need a reason the guy would move a player to you. Well, second round pick will do it. You have James Cook.
You have just as good a chance. This may be a hot take, but this is how I feel about the second round through the fourth round.
Sure.
Mid-second round, you have just as good a chance as those guys contributing quickly as you do through the middle of the third, maybe even early fourth round. Your Jonathan Mingos that everybody was drooling over, myself included,
Sure.
is an early second, mid-second.
I mean,
I just
depends on
got
the
Derrick
draft
Henry.
class.
I just got Rashad White for a second 2 weeks ago.
Sure. Yeah, and it depends on the year, obviously, and hit rates are going to show you that players will hit earlier in the draft.
But look at Downs and Reed and
sure.
Puka. Like, sure, those are your hand-picking guys, but they have just as good a chance as the first guys. Hendon Hooker was going early second.
Well, I mean,
He may never play a down.
I don't know if he's going early second.
I have rookie drafts I looked at today. Hendon Hooker went into the first, beginning of second.
Yeah, that'd be wild. I don't know if I'd go that high, but sure. I
second
hear
round
your
picks
premise.
suck. They're
I hear your
just
premise.
luck.
I
I'd rather have 3/3 than an early second.
Oh goodness, I don't think I would rather that.
Why?
We should make some trades then. We should make some trades because look, you're talking for every Puka Nacua and Josh Downs. There's 50 Tank Bigsby's and Kendre Millers and name another one. I mean, Jonathan Mingos, and you have a bunch of these guys that are just not.
Kendre Miller's an
firing.
early second. He was
Sure,
late first.
Right, that's what I'm saying though. Is that like you're sitting?
So
here
give
saying,
me
like,
three guys in that pool. Let me cast my net wider.
Okay,
Give me a chance at 3.
sure.
Then
But
just one. They're all in the same fucking pool.
they're close. They're close. We turn this into a whole pick.
It's a
valuing.
strategy. That's what I'm saying. People
Yeah.
value seconds incredibly
Yes.
high. Rashad White
Yes.
should not be going for a second.
No, he should not.
I just moved
shouldn't.
Mike Williams in a second for Derrick Henry.
I'll put it this way: I have Rashad White on a roster I don't want Rashad White on, and I haven't been able to get a second or more than a second for him, and it's ridiculous.
That is ridiculous. He's a first-round player.
He should be a first-round player. I don't want him
Mid-first.
right now.
What team? What team?
What team? It's the FC2 for us. FC2. I tried to get rid of him all over the place, and everyone's like, "I'll give you a 26 second." I'm like, "No, I know what I have." But goodness gracious, I'm not competing. I need to rebuild. I have a running back that I can't use.
Maybe we can talk T. Higgins and Rashad White.
Maybe we could talk to Higgins and Rashad White.
Because I'm competing. I have to win out. I like Rashad.
Sure.
It's a point per carry.
I would do
discuss.
that deal right now.
I know. I'm not saying straight up, but maybe around those two
You
guys.
heard it here first, folks. He would do T. Higgins for Rashad White right now. If he doesn't, he's a pussy. Okay.
I have the same. Back to the question. I have the same mindset at this point in the year. For the most part, if your team has a chance to win a ring, and if
Yes.
it does,
Yes.
fuck the rookie picks.
Right. Get into the playoffs.
Even your first. If you can go get a guy that is starting the rest of the way for you, Michael Pittman, I'd give a first.
Yeah, that's not bad. That's not bad.
Keenan Allen, would you give a first for Keenan Allen if you're competing?
If I'm competing, if I know that I'm like a piece away, ooh, yeah, probably.
You have to.
I would do
If
it.
you don't, what are we doing? The off season is 8
you
months
have to.
long.
You have to, because you know what? The best advice I've gotten this year is you can't play both sides of the fence. You can't play. I'm looking to compete. Also, I want to be good next year. No.
And if
Go
you're
for the damn championship.
and if you're in and you're only Keenan Allen away, your
You got a
first
pretty good
is
team.
late anyway.
Boyd says, I will never, ever give a first for Keenan Allen. Well, that's because you want to win
Why?
a championship, Boyd.
We want rings.
Oh,
We want
goodness.
rings. I'm not saying Mike Evans. I'm saying a guy who's a top 5 receiver right now.
Yeah.
And you can get
Lighting it
more
up.
than Keenan Allen. I'm just saying those are the type of guys I'm okay paying for.
I would do it. I would do it. All right. While we're kind of heading into the end of the show, one guy has been a hot topic in the NFL. Everybody loves him. I was not this high on him because I'm like, he doesn't have any rushing ability. He's not A-Rich. He's not going to be Kyler Murray or whatever. CJ Stroud, holy jamoli.
What do we
Are
say
we-
here at Losing Sucks? What's he currently doing?
I don't know. Is he
He's balling.
balling the fuck out? I
No,
guess.
no.
No?
Come on, brain. He's balling his dick off.
Oh, he's balling his dick off. Okay. Oh, goodness. Yeah, he is balling his dick off. I mean,
If he
I don't
doesn't
know.
deserve that title of balling his dick off, who does?
He's. My question to you is: this was given to me in our group chat, and it's a really interesting point. Is he already in that Justin Herbert, Joe Burrow tier?
Absolutely.
Already.
Yes.
10 games into his rookie season, he
Yes.
is him.
Yes.
I need to go buy him. Then I need to.
You're paying that
rethink-
price.
Well, that's the thing. Like, my point that I brought up, I always like to play devil's advocate because it was a contrast between Trevor Lawrence and CJ Stroud, and my perspective is I'd say it's even likely that there's going to come a time, might not be this season, but could be next season, where Trevor Lawrence has a 5, 6, 7 game stretch where he looks phenomenal.
For sure.
He's taken those risky throws. He's 40-yard touchdown bombs. It looks great. And then CJ Stroud might have a couple games where it looks bad for him. Maybe his offensive line sucked that stretch and he looks terrible. We don't know because different things happen in the NFL that we can't predict.
Right.
There's going to come a time when they come back to closer to even, okay? And that's what I'm saying. At that time, are you
you're
trading? Are you trying to trade Trevor Lawrence to get CJ Stroud?
You would have to put more on Lawrence right now.
Then
His
that's what I'm
value
saying.
is so low.
That's
I
what I'm
thought you were
saying.
asking because CJ Stroud will come back to reality a little bit.
Yes.
Are you
I'm
selling Stroud?
Yes, I'm selling Stroud not for anything,
Okay.
but if you can go from CJ Stroud to Joe Burrow, I'm doing that.
Dak in a first?
No. No, I
Dak
can
in
get
2
more.
first?
Yes, I would do that. I would do Dak in 2 first for CJ Stroud.
Justin Herbert?
I would do Justin Herbert straight up for CJ Stroud, absolutely.
Which side is going to argue that they should get a second on top?
Look, I would say whichever one asks for it first deserves it. I would say, if someone's offering me, hey, I got CJ Stroud, I got Justin Herbert. Oh, cool. I want a second. Okay.
Bye.
Bye.
Oh, really?
Oh,
I would
Jesus
take
Christ.
I would take Justin Herbert over CJ Stroud.
I mean, yeah. You have to, because to me, that's the principle we've talked about of Justin Herbert has done it for years. We know that's him.
I know, but so will Stroud. I really think he will, but
But he hasn't done it yet.
it
If I
just
can
takes
trade
time
it,
to
the way I
change
look
how
at
you
it,
feel about these
the
guys.
way that I look at Dynasty is, would I pay a second round pick to guarantee CJ Stroud turns into it? And if that's all it takes to guarantee it, I would add a second on to CJ
What do you
Stroud
mean
and
turns into what?
Justin Herbert. If someone says, "Hey, if here's a second round pick," and CJ Stroud automatically becomes Justin Herbert, boom. Okay, well then I'm gonna do that because I
Yeah,
want
you
Justin
don't know
Herbert.
that. Is that what you're saying? We already know that Justin Herbert is that?
Exactly. Yeah,
Okay.
we already know that Justin Herbert is Justin Herbert. So
Yeah,
I would
I'm
do
with
that.
you.
Same with Justin or Joe Burrow.
Mike Williams is old. Keenan Allen
Yep.
is old. Gerald Everett is old. Austin Eckler is old.
Yeah.
Do you think that there is a couple down years coming for Herbert, or do they just reload?
It's definitely possible. Eckler
Because
is
you
on
got
the
Nico
way.
Collins, Tank Dell, Dalton Schultz.
Here's the
like
thing,
that. It's a
man.
nice
Here's the
young
thing.
group there.
Keenan Allen's gone after this year, most likely.
It changes a lot.
Eckler is probably gone after this year, and I have a really sneaky suspicion that there might be a T. Higgins in Los Angeles.
I would like that. Maybe I shouldn't sell him for Rashad White. What am I thinking?
I would trade him for Rashad White, though. That is the advice I'll give our listeners. Because Rashad White is a great asset, and you need him on your dynasty roster.
Yeah.
Please trade him to me.
All right. That's all I have for tonight. Week 11 is close. I am
Goodness.
not decided. I'm undecided, if you will,
Ooh.
on if I'll be back Thursday. Maybe watch the end of the fourth quarter and immediately jump on Thursday night. We'll see
All right.
if the
All right.
alcohol feels like talking.
I'll tell you this. I might hop on this weekend.
Oh,
Might hop on this weekend for a Sunday show.
all right. Are you an F1 fan?
I'm starting to get into it.
There's a race this weekend in Las Vegas. First race
I've heard.
starts at midnight your time.
Goodness gracious. Okay.
Are you up that late? Maybe feeding the baby?
No, the baby's been sleeping. Oh my God, it's been so nice.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Well,
Don't give the baby 300 milligrams of caffeine at 5 o'clock in the afternoon because it won't sleep. I don't think I'll sleep till late tonight.
what? Oh my God.
But
You had
your
500
inbox will be
milligrams?
no 300 to 500. I'm gonna need an IV. I will be sending you some offers here shortly for
Hell
Rashad
yeah.
White.
Love it. Hopefully they include T. Higgins.
Boyd, thanks for coming by.
Boyd, everyone else, thank you so much. Have a good night. Week 11's on the horizon. And remember, this is Losing Sucks. Don't do it.